Hello, everybody. Welcome to the episode 29 of the Hrudai Chetan Show podcast. Welcome to a truly uplifting episode of the Hrudai Chetan Show. Today, we are joined by a man who is not just flown thousands of feet above the ground, but has also lifted the dreams of thousands here on earth. Meet Captain Deval Soni, an A320 commander, TEDx speaker, and the visionary co-founder of Golden Aviation, with over 6,000 flying hours and 15 years of mentoring over 3,500 aspiring pilots. Captain Deval sir is a true mentor in the sky and in life. Coming from a humble background, he turned every obstacle into opportunity. His story is not just about flying, it's about breaking limits, building futures, and believing in the impossible. So let us put our hands and welcome on the screen Captain Deval Soni sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Welcome.
yeah. Thank you, Hrudai Chetan.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm very, very proud that now you are here on our podcast show and you are going to share some insights and thoughts about aeroplane and also as a pilot. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Hrudai, and thank you for inviting me. And I really hope that I'll be able to add some value to your audience. Thank you so much once again for calling me.
thank you so much, sir. Absolutely, you will be able to. There
Yeah,
is no question about that. So
yeah,
let's begin right now.
yeah.
How was your childhood and a memory you remember?
Oh, Hrudai, I comes from a very humble middle class family. So my childhood was also, a normal middle class family type only. My father, I mean, he was so friendly and is still so friendly. And my mother is someone who is strict and who always used to push my limits. Otherwise, I had a very normal, average, middle class, life going to the school. I was one of those, a kind of reserved kind of student during my schooling, and I was those who used to avoid crowd gathering, and I was one of those, underconfident and a shy, person in my school. Yeah, and one of the memory which I do remember, one day when I was very young, I stole 10 rupees from the washroom. And when my mother investigated about this and she got to know that I am the one who stole this, I really got a good scold. I really got a slap on my face.
Oh,
And I think that day, after that, I never, decided never to steal anything. And I think that was a good learning from my mom. So I've learned a lot from my mom. Yeah.
interesting. So I can relate to that what you shared. No, I was shy. So post fifth grade, when I shifted to a new school in
Hmm.
Bangalore, so
Hmm.
that's when I was introverted and also I was shy. I was in Kolar. So
Hmm.
and then I shifted to Bangalore.
Hmm.
Yeah, so then I could relate to that.
Yeah. Right.
Take us back. What was young Deval Soni like, and
Hmm.
how did your dream of becoming a pilot
Hmm.
begin?
So young Deval Soni was always been ambitious and wanted to do something, different from others. However, during my school, I wasn't sure that what I wanted to do. But one thing was sure that I want to do something different and unconventional and out of the box from others. So after my 12th, I visited a flying club in Jaipur because as I belong to Jaipur with my brother, and I saw those small aeroplanes, those trainee, students in the uniform, and those runways, those lights. I really got, fascinated. And then when I told my father about the total investment involved, in fact, he didn't say no, you know, but I could have seen the pain in his eyes. I could see that, he's not comfortable, investing that much of amount because, this amount was really, really huge, especially for people like us from a, middle class family. And to be very honest, I was not that passionate enough as well. Okay. Otherwise, if I would have been passionate or if I would have been crazy behind it, then I would have definitely shown some courage towards it, that no dad, no papa, मुझे पायलट बनना ही बनना है. आप कैसे भी करके अरेंज करो, but I will not do anything else other than this. So I think that thing was not there, to be honest. So, but however, looking at my dad face and I kind of dropped the idea of becoming a pilot.
Mm,
So, but later on, when I did my graduation, my master's from Manipal, and I got placed in TCS, and then I saw an ad in the newspaper, become a pilot in 6 months.
mm,
And I think those, my suppressed memory of being a pilot, I think started roaring back. And I was not lying that I mean I was not liking my job at all. And then I think from there onwards, I started researching about this and I approached so many banks, approximately 40 banks. And all of the banks said, no, we will not give loan for the pilot training. But those days, my craziness towards this field was actually increasing. And when I was staying in Bangalore, I was working with TCS I worked for 1 year. I was, staying near HAL airport. So, and I used to sleep on the on that just above the third floor of our building, and I used to watch airplanes take off and landing from there. And I intentionally used to sleep there only every day. I used to love those vibes. Those noises, those airplane, I used to get a goosebumps. So I think from there onwards, my passion towards being a pilot started growing up. And then I decided that, I will definitely try so that I don't regret it later that I didn't try. So after a lot of difficulties, I finally got a loan. You know, Definitely my father has to pledge his entire PF in gratuity to get me a loan. But I think from there onwards, I never looked back.
wow. So now, are you the only one in your family as a pilot?
Yes, 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 yes.
Wow, you need to take that pride and the, yeah.
Right.
Coming from a middle class background, what was some of the biggest challenges you faced on your path to the cockpit?
I think Hriday, finances is one of the challenges, However, I got the loan, but I was always having this mindset of, saving money on every step. And I think when you don't have finances in your pocket, you're not, you, sometimes you're not get bold enough to take the decisions. Okay. So I used to see my friends, those who are good with finances, they used to, do a lot of like type rating. Like after CPL, they did the type rating very easily. They were being able to invest in additional training. But I was always like, I was always used to be short of funds. So I think that was one of the biggest challenge I faced. And, just to overcome that, I started teaching, I started mentoring. When I finished my CPL, I started Golden Uplates Aviation with my partner Avdesh, just for the intention of me paying or helping my dad to pay the EMIs of my loan. So yeah, I think that was the toughest and challenges of I faced.
So, what are the qualities that is needed if you want to become a pilot?
I think good leadership skills. Okay. And I think you need to be calm under pressure. And I think you need to have a good situational awareness. and a good multitasking abilities and effective communication and I think adaptability. Yeah. And in fact, it's not that like everybody have these skills already, but the skills can be built over the period of time. And another is mental resilience and emotional, stress management is also very, very important to be a pilot, to remain as a, pilot as well. Yeah.
Yes, right. Absolutely, yes. So when you first sat in the cockpit of the aeroplane, how did that feel? That moment.
I think I can express those feeling when I started, as I told you, like you know, I with a lot of difficulty I got a loan. My father has to pledge his entire savings, PF and gratuity, and I was being rejected by 40 banks, branches. But then eventually, when was I was really behind it, I got the loan, and but when I went for a training, until then I was like I was not crazier to be a pilot, but when I sat in the cockpit for the first time, I think the graph of my craziness you know took a steep I mean upward slope, and I really got crazier day by day in this field.
Wow. You often say flying is more than a profession, it's a purpose. What does that mean to you?
I think initially when we are young and we rely, I mean, we want to be a pilot, but being a pilot comes with a lot of responsibilities. You're carrying a lot of passengers behind you, and you have to. I think you have to treat your passengers as your family members.
Mm,
They are your own, and so I always used to have this. My family members are traveling with me.
mm,
So, you need to have the safety mindset. You need to have the responsibility mindset, and you need to be SOP oriented. You need to have, you need continuously need to improve. You need to, work on your personal growth, and yeah, so I think it's a wonderful profession which gives you an opportunity to grow, and to be an ambassador of an airline. I think passengers looks you as an ambassador of an airline. I think you represent an airline, so it becomes our duty, to do our work in a very, very responsible fashion.
yes, absolutely. Yes. Passengers will be waiting to meet a pilot.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's becomes a responsibility so that they reach their loved ones safely, and yeah.
yeah. So I remember this memory that I had when I climbed the aeroplane. So
Hmm.
when I was a kid and maybe going to Dubai, so
Hmm.
I was eagerly waiting to meet the pilot inside the cockpit while the aeroplane was moving. So
Right.
my parents requested, the air hostess
Hmm.
that, can he go
Hmm.
into the cockpit because he is wanting to see.
Hmm.
So they agreed, and I had a jumps packet in my hand. So I went inside, I saw up, and I was like, wow, so many buttons. No? Then I took the jump in
Hmm.
the jumps packet and I just fed the pilot. That was the wow moment that I could recall.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah.
I'll just
So,
pull my chair a little bit. Yeah, that's to
yeah.
be. Yeah, please. Yeah.
So, how has being a pilot shaped your mindset, discipline, and approach to life?
I think this profession has taught me a lot of patience, a lot of perseverance, and I think mentally this field have taught me mental resilience, how to do how to regulate your emotions, And I think it taught me a discipline. It taught me, the importance of time. I think now I measure time in a way like I know now 30 seconds is left. I think in 30 seconds I'll be able to do this activity. So, when we go in the cockpit, we measure time that we have to finish things in this much of time. And I think multitasking also I've learned. I think now, I'm able to do certain few things at one point of time, and that too, efficiently. And yeah, I think I'm more responsible. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So this may be an interesting question. What was your most unforgettable moment in the air? A story that still stays with you.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting story. Me and we were going to Dubai from Delhi, and in my previous airline, we used to get a hard copy of a Jepson charts. We used those charts to fly actually.
Hmm.
So I was updating my Jepson charts hard copy in the cockpit, and that point of time, in fact, captain was also, just for a momentary time, he was also got occupied and doing something. Uh, you know, all of a sudden, our aircraft started shaking, and our aircraft, got dropped. I think by 25 feet, which is a lot, and you know, maybe more than that at that point of time. Our autopilot got also tripped,
Hmm.
and I think our aircraft was shaking like this for almost, 20 to 25 seconds. And it was too bad. And even the passengers behind was also screaming. And we both of us, we were trying to reach the, FCU from where we switch on the autopilot, but we were not been able to because we were, we were trying to, but we were not been able to. But
Hmm.
after a while, after 25 seconds around, and we got settled, then we switched on the autopilot and we were looking to each other, Captain and me. And then we were like, what happened? How comes all of a sudden? And then when we asked the ATC, is there any aircraft overflown us? So ATC replied it was an Airbus 380.
Hmm.
So the wake of that Airbus 380 actually, descends. And because it's a super heavy aircraft, it's hit our aircraft. And due to that, it was shaken. Then we called the cabin crew in the cockpit and we asked her, is everything okay? Is everybody safe? And fortunately, luckily, nobody was injured. And thankfully, by God grace, it went fine after that. And when we landed in Dubai and when I was collecting the baggage, one of the passenger came to me and asked me, Captain, what happened? I was the first officer that time.
Hmm.
And then I said, I cooked up some story. I said, there was an air pocket which get undetected by a system. I, it comes all of a sudden, no, and there's no way out. We can come out of it. And then I told them, but then somehow we managed to come out of it. We did this, and we come out of it. Then he said, "Keep it. How do you do this?" Then I explained him. We undergo a lot of rigorous training and a lot of procedural training, which actually helped us. So he was like, "Wow, man, wow! I mean, you guys are really great." I'm like, yeah, yeah. That's a part of a responsibility.
Hmm.
So I would, agree. So I mean, that is the importance of this job. You really have to be, so attentive, so focused. That's very, very important. Yeah.
Okay. So why are two captains in this cockpit of the aeroplane? Is it necessary or is it like the turn wise that they take?
So, in case if any pilot get incapacitated,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of work need to be done. So, two pilots are required. One pilot will be doing the pilot, will be a pilot flying, will be doing the takeoff and landing, turnings, shooting an approach. The other pilot will be monitoring and assisting the other pilot to fly. And the other pilot will do the ATC communication as well. Because there's a lot of task involved. One pilot doing all those tasks is not, safe. So to perform so many tasks, we need two pilots in the cockpit and to assist each other to make it a safer flight.
Right. So I have seen this one reel, no, that says no pilot in the front only sees the clouds,
Yeah.
and the passengers can see the, the path,
Mm.
the road, and
Mm.
also the water.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, what inspired you to co-found Golden Aviation? What gap were you trying to fill?
Yeah, so very interesting, Hriday. When I finished my CPL training and when I came back, uh, to India, it was an economy slowdown.
Mm,
In fact, when I went for, my training, the aviation industry was booming. And just just before I finished my training, economy slowdown, appeared or came. And there was no jobs for at least 2.2 to 2.5 years. Not a job, zero jobs in the market.
mm,
And because I we took a loan, educational loan, and it was such a burden on my dad's shoulder. And I always wanted to help my dad, and I wanted to take this responsibility to help him to pay the EMIs. Just to pay the EMIs, I co-founded Golden Updates Aviation with my partner Avdesh, Captain Avdesh, and we started teaching our own friends. And you won't believe we used to take 2,000 rupees, 2,500 rupees to teach, and so that I'll be able to help my dad to contribute, in the EMIs. That was the only and sole intention. But I never thought that we will go, I mean, we'll come so long, and Golden Updates will be one of the leading brand in today. I mean, I never thought about it, that point
wow,
of time.
super, sir.
Yeah.
You have mentored over 3,500 aspiring pilots. What's
Yeah.
the most common misconception they have about becoming a pilot?
Yeah. In fact, Hriday, I mean, thank you so much for asking this. And, in fact, in my webinars also, I, take a lot of webinars. In fact, at least two webinars every month on Sunday. I have like people can register for the webinar on devalsoni.com. So there are a lot of myths. One of the myth is like only rich people can become a pilot. I think everyone have the right to dream to be a pilot. And I think if you can really convert your dream into an action plan, I'm sure that you will be able to come a lot of challenges and in fact all the obstacles, including finances. If you take my example, I took loan and out of my, in fact now I have trained 4,000 now. 3,500 was the previous data. So a lot of our students, like I'll give you the story of one of our student Apurva Rawat. Uh, she was a ground staff and she was, being told by her dad, you know, I want you to do a passenger announcement for me one day. Then, like she was like, Dad, how can I become a pilot? We don't have this much of funds, money. Then he told her, I don't know, you figure out, I want you to be a pilot. And then she was just Googling and she founded Golden Rapids Aviation on Google. She contacted us. And then she told me, oh, okay. And before that, she lost her father in Pulwama attack. Very sad. But I mean, she lost her backbone, and then she contacted us. And when I asked her, Apurva, why you want to be a pilot, and she told me, I it was my dad's dream. I want to do it for my dad. I wanted to make a passionate announcement for my dad. And I really got emotionally, I mean, melt. And I guided her on all the steps. So this is what I want to tell all the, aspiring pilots. If you think that this is something very big, you won't be able to take those small steps. I think take small baby steps. That's what I advise all my students. Start doing, class two medical, clear your DGC exams, do your class one medical, do your flying training. Because if you don't take a chance, you will regret it later for sure. Another misconception is only do, only they become pilot to those who have an aviation background. But if you take my example, or 80% of my students, they don't have any aviation background, and they are flying. All of my friends, mostly, I mean, nobody in their family is, I mean, pilot. Um, Other myths are or common misconceptions is only toppers or those who are good academically, those who are good in maths and physics can become a pilot. This is absolutely not true. Even DGCA also have sent a recommendation to government to remove the eligibility criteria to have maths and physics in 10 plus 2 to become a pilot. I think physics and maths are very, very basic. I mean, the involvement of physics is very, very minimal, and you need to be good. I mean, you need to be average in your basic elementary mathematics, skills also. Otherwise, 11, 12 math, physics is nowhere in this, aviation. I mean, to be a pilot. Another thing is a lot of people think that you need to have a very good communication skills, and I would say yes. Okay, but people like me, during my college, during my bachelor's, I was so shy, underconfident, I couldn't utter two sentences of English. But I think from there onwards, when I finished my training, when I started teaching, mentoring people, then I started improving on my communication skills. So I think communication skills is something which can be improved. So I mean, it should not be a setback for you. I think those skills can be built, and I think it's time to take courage and strong will. I wish I would have shown a strong courage and will to my dad just after 10 plus 2. I mean, that's it. This is what I really want to fill in this, aviation industry. Yeah.
Awesome. So, what kind of mindset should a young person have if they truly want to pursue aviation?
Yeah. So first, if the student is really, crazy to be a pilot, if they really visualize themselves in the pilot uniform, if they
Mm,
really run to the terrace to watch the airplanes fly, if they are someone who love watching, aviation content on YouTube or Instagram, they love reading aviation thing, simulators at home. I think the sky is calling you, and I think you should really go behind it. And I'm sure that all those myths, and all those obstacles, you'll be able to come over it. And yeah, so I think the mindset should be to take chance. A lot of people have this worry, like, what after CPL? What if we don't get a job? I mean, if I would not have taken a chance, I would have never become a pilot. But if you're not taking chance, then you will never become a pilot for sure. I mean, in any for any I mean, this is something big. So obviously, you've take a bold step, a big step, take chance, and uh, I mean, otherwise you will regret it later. That I wish I would have taken up that chance. And all my friends, everybody, who did CPL and who stayed in aviation, everybody is flying. Why? Because we took chance. we did CPL, and that is the reason, all of us, flew or flying as a commander, trainers, and yeah. So I think that mindset of, doing it, that strong will, courage, going behind your passion and having patience, perseverance, I think that kind of mindset is very much required for all the young, students. Yeah.
So, how do you differentiate between passion and academics?
Passion in academics, I would say passion is something, when you do something, but, you don't feel like doing, you
Right.
know, like when I used to go for my flights, I mean, I never used to that, feel that I'm going for a work. However, sometimes used to feel fatigue. I mean, that's a different story. But I think this is one of the greatest job I can say, full of pride, uniform, that responsibility, and I think carrying of, flight back towards the aircraft, and that spatial line for the pilots and the cabin crew, during the security, and yeah. So
Yes. So, I like your uniform.
yeah, and academics, I think, in this field, generally pilots are not bookish. If I have trained 4,000 plus pilots now, and I found most of the pilots are, good in, situational awareness, common sense, hand-eye foot coordination, and, multitasking abilities. But as far as the books are concerned, academically is concerned, they are very, very average in, studies. A lot of people, I mean, they have just managed to pass 12 standard, and they are an exceptionally good pilots, because the traits or the skills required to be pilot is different. They need not to be good in, academically.
Mm.
Yeah.
So now when we come to the sad part, that is the aeroplane crash that happened in Ahmedabad.
Yeah.
Can you explain in simple terms how did the Ahmedabad aeroplane crash happen?
Yeah, Hriday, actually only the prelim report is out. Okay. The final report is still not, out. So I am not in position to, give the actual reason of the air crash. But as per the prelim report, only this much is found, that the fuel cutoff switch, was not in the run position. It was in the off position. And
Mm.
then later on, you know, in fact, one of the pilot asked also, like, why did you turn it off? And the other pilot replied, I didn't do it. Okay. And those switches were, were again back to run position. So still, can't say what exactly happened. And so I'm not in position to tell the exact reason until the final report is, out.
Right. So the plane was only in the air for 30 seconds. What
Yeah.
could go wrong in such a short time? Is that the reason which you shared?
Yeah, so both engines were actually died. What was the exact reason? How comes those switches were in the off position? I mean, don't know until the final report is out.
Right. So what is a black box and why is it so important after a crash?
Yeah. So black box are situated in the tail of the aircraft, because that position is less prone to, less prone to structural damage in case of an accident. It records a lot of various parameters. It has a cockpit voice recorder. It has a flight data recorder. So it records the communication between the pilots, the communication between pilots and the ATC. It records the communication between pilot and the cabin crew via intercom. And FDR records a lot of parameters, flight parameters, like, for example, what is the altitude, airspeed, what was the attitude, what bank angle, and various thousands of parameters. So in case of any accident or, an investigation. The investigators study like what was happening in that flight before the crash. So then they assess and then they, comes out with a report of the actual reason of the accident. Yeah.
How long does it usually take to analyze the black box and know the real reason for a crash?
There is no definite time. As you can see, it took a month to get the prelim report. The final report is gonna take how long? I sincerely don't know. It depends. Yeah. But it takes a while. A long.
So what are some life lessons flying has taught you that you wish every young person knew?
Life lessons. I think perseverance, mental resilience, emotional regulation, is something which we need to train ourselves on. You know, it needs a lot of courage, especially from middle class families. uh, you know, but it is very much achievable. It is very much doable. When and I say to everyone, when I can become a pilot, definitely, I mean, others can, you can also become a pilot. Yeah.
So what was your working hours?
So it depends on the roster. Company releases roster, I mean, a few days before the commencement of the next month. And then we fly as per the roster. Sometimes we have a consecutive 2 days of morning flights. Sometimes we have a night flights. Sometimes we fly in the afternoon. Sometimes we're flying in the evening. So it depends on the roster.
So in a world full of distractions, how can someone stay focused on their goals like you did?
I think if we can, write our action plan every day, like if we can have so I'll show you like my diary. So So I write I mean, my goals. What are why? In the next week, what's my goals? In the next month, what's my goal? My goal number two, my goal number three. And then I split into week wise, month wise, next 3 month wise. And I think I have a goals in terms of my personal life, like my home and family, my health, fitness, mental well-being, career, finances, personal development, travel. So I think if we have goals, we stay focused, and if we can really handhold a true mentor or a wise mentor, and if we can be a part of any good community, I think we stay focused. And in the golden applets also, the kind of platform which we are provided to our students, like every student is helping each other. We believe in growing each other. We believe in karma. And if you see the kind of vibes, environment which we have created in Golden Laplets community, that everybody is so helping, everybody is pushing, each other's limit. Everybody is, like, oh, I mean, what happened to your goal? Everybody is helping in, each other in studies, in the process of becoming a pilot, and then supporting each other emotionally, mentally. So I think, and my mission is, to create a safer skies by giving a world class quality, training to all the aspiring pilots so that we can produce safer pilots. And my vision is to give a platform to all those aspiring pilots where everyone can come together and, grow with each other and can fulfill their dream of becoming a pilot.
Wow. With this, how is your life now?
I think my purpose is evolving. I have got my purpose. I really want to, guide, mentor, and inspire those young aspiring pilots, those who are really crazy, to be a pilot. It's just that they are facing some challenge and on obstacles. I think God have chosen me to be a guiding light for all those aspiring pilots. Though, and they, I think, they need a mentor who can really handhold them, who can guide them on every step and can help them, avoiding a lot of blunders, mistakes in this field, and can achieve, their dream job. And I wish them all the best that they get their, pilot uniform, they get the cockpit sooner than expected. So it's important to be part of a good community, a good support. Yeah.
Right.
That's
So,
my, mission, life mission now.
yeah. I wish every individual who is watching this podcast could have been taken this point which you shared now. I have fulfilled my purpose and also I'm evolving with the purpose.
Yeah.
So find out your purpose in your life and move forward and serve in your own way. So what's your message to someone who is passionate but feels lost or limited by their circumstances?
Yeah. So I would say, you know, to all of the aspiring pilots, uh, you know, please take chance. I understand finances can be your big obstacle, your, that courage can be an obstacle, that fear of not getting a job will be an obstacle. Medicals, what if I do this, if I don't get succeed? We have to understand one thing. We have to learn to take chances in life. That is my message. And if you keep working on yourself, keep working on your skills, I and if if you get into our universe system, you know, I'm sure that one day you will be able to achieve your dream. It's just that you have to take a, I would say you have to do this training, otherwise you will not become a pilot. Take chance, improve every single day, fly simulators, stay in touch with studies after your CPL, prepare for alien preparation. And I'm telling you, after training 4,000 plus pilots, you will get a job and get into the swimming pool. If you don't know the swimming, you will learn the swimming. Get into the uncomfortable zone, uh, you know, and I'm sure that one day you will become a pilot.
Yes, absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
If you could fly anywhere in the world with one message written on your aircraft, what would it say?
Oh, I think get mad for your get mad for your dream.
Mm,
Like when I did CPL and I was facing a lot of, challenges, to get a job, I really got crazy and mad to become a pilot. Uh, I was like, I couldn't see anything. I was just behind this, behind this, behind this. There's one day, I want to be a pilot. I was carrying, responsibilities of my father's, sacrifices. And looking back was never an option for me. So I think I would love to write a message on my aeroplane, like, let's get mad and crazier for your dream. Yeah.
wow, super. So now when we come to the last part of this episode, and that will be rapid questions, one word answer. So let's go for it. Night flying or day flying?
Night flying.
Favorite airport in the world?
Where, sorry?
Favorite airport in the
Favorite.
world?
Singapore. Changi International Airport.
One word to describe the feeling of takeoff.
Tickling.
Simulator or real cockpit?
Real cockpit.
Most challenging weather you have flown in.
Uh, Thunderstorm at Imphal.
One must have habit for every pilot.
I think sleeping at odd times.
Coffee or tea.
Coffee.
One flight memory you will never forget.
The same story which I told you, like got into the wake turbulence of Airbus 380.
Dream destination you haven't flown to yet.
Norway.
Wow, super, sir. Thank you so much. That was just mind blowing and awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, your thoughts, insights about your pilot journey and the aeroplane. Right? So, what is that one message you would give me and the audience? How did you feel being here on my podcast and sharing your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, Hriday, thank you so much. You are doing a good job. You know, this is something, it's like giving back to the society. You're trying to, or in fact, you are a mediator or a medium. I think God have sent you for a reason. And through you, if you are sending messages to your audience, you never know that they're listening to your podcast. A lot of people must be getting inspiration. A lot of people must be getting a lot of good messages. And if you are a medium, I think you can, maybe your messages will go to a large audience. So in a way, you're really helping large audience to, give good messages, good value. So I think you're doing a good work. You're contributing, to the society, and that too, you started at a very young age. I wish you the best and keep evolving. That's all.
Thank you so much, sir. So, your last message that you would want to give the audience?
Yeah. So take bold step, take risk, and take chances in life. And good luck. Wish everyone the best. And let's believe in karma.
Yes,
Right.
yes, sure. So, thank you so much. So, before we end this episode, I want you to I want to say that no, check the link which is in the description, the website which Sir shared. Go ahead and register if you are keen, if you are inspired by this podcast. I'm sure that you will be, but go ahead and join the webinar. I will see you there, and Sir will be there too. So thank you so much, audience. Thank you so much, sir, for being here on this episode 29. Looking forward to have you all in my next episode 30. So till then, thank you and goodbye.